내가 아직도 킹가이즈로 보이느냐?
킹가이즈 그게 무슨 소리야?
Hello, this is KRBrickBot. And to be honest, I'm not really that much into Miniforce. Because it's basically Power Rangers for little kids with little animals, but they still have cool mecha. As for the series, I tried binge watching the first season, but I kinda dropped off because it was getting formulaic. And as such, I really didn't bother with prioritizing the new Dino Force power mechas. But then this interesting oddity came to my attention. This is Ray's Transbot from the second season of the first series of Miniforce. More of you might be aware of Ray's second mech, completely original design, but this one looks awfully familiar. Funny story, I think RayBot came out first in the series, like 2014, but then King Gaiz's toy came out first in Korea. Because I guess somehow they made the animation model, but they just didn't bother making the toy model, so they eventually completely reworked it and then put a new robot named King Gaiz into Helloka봇. Because I think Choi Rock also worked on the very first Miniforce series. And then some Chinese company released this official, not a knockoff, of the Miniforce toys, the very first 4 Miniforce mechs, including this brand new mode. So this character design came first, but then this toy came out next, and then this toy came out after. Better late than never. I got this from Sirtoys, which naturally doesn't come with packaging, for economic reasons. But from what I saw online and Start Someone Else, this was distributed by Jump Go and Wow Daddy. The legendary hero is coming. And it also has some Korean on it.
Ray is a mutant of several special animals. And so, he has been harassed by humans. Dr. Tao helped bring him to the Miniforce, and he turned into an elite agent. However, lately, he incorrectly believed that the Miniforce intended to get rid of him. And this is Ray's Force Transbot. Normally it looks like a human. It can transform into a hawk, wolf, shark, or bat. It is the most advanced force bot.
At first glance, the head and chest are the only parts that seem to be different, but there are a lot of subtle differences. For one, the torso. I mean, the upper torso looks the same, but there are actually extra ridges added to King Gaiz here. And of course, a big purple loincloth. The shoulders, while they do look like they're unpainted, these actually have molded 3 prism ridges on them. These are striped and painted. Very lovely paint. The forearms look pretty much the same. Maybe there's a slight different curve, like a slightly shorter curve to this, but that looks mostly the same. And the arm articulation is pretty much the same, except for RayBot, he has extra soft ratchets in his arm. None for King Gaiz here. Little soft plastic ratchets. Coming down to the legs. The upper thighs are quite different, like these different rounded bits and painted bits. The lower legs look pretty much identical, down to those vaguely carved symbol-shaped leg bits. And they still have those side swivels, but although since RayBots have his painted in, they break up the sculpt when he does that. Sometimes putting the thigh swivel all the way down here looks better. As for his legs, looks like RayBot has extra ratchets. This one is just straight hinges, no soft clicks. And coming down to the lower legs, again, they are subtle but oh so different. So RayBot has this extra gold trim that really brings out the subtle sculpted detail on King Gaiz. But the upper knee pads are quite different. Yeah, these are painted red, while this is like inverse gold with some a 14-edged shape. And there's been a little bit of a paint scrapage on the pointy bits. That's what you get for Sirtoys loose, I guess. And these lower bits, yeah, these are rounded, like round things, but these are just straight up diamonds. And other than that, the other leg sculpting looks pretty identical, and slightly different clipping tabs. You know, these simple clips and bars, while these are actually two actual tabs. And the feet and lower legs look mostly the same. Yeah, the feet look the same. Yeah, down to the molding. Okay, there is a little bit of a subtle different molding in the lower leg here. As you can see, if there's slightly different greebling, and also his feet's inner circles are painted in a lovely metallic red. Looking at RayBot's completely different head sculpt, it's a regal looking thing. I guess this also looks regal in a different kind of way, but it's a traditional robot with a frowny face, silver face, metallic red eyes, and 3 golden bits, and a golden chin, all on purple. That looks like it's on a swivel. It might be a ball socket, but a very limited ball socket. And it's quite pointy on the back. And of course, that very stylized, completely different chest. Golden frills, black, and a more metallic red. Slightly nipped. And a little plastic gold bottom thing. Kinda looks like a robot face. A creature face. And it opens that are on hexagonal ridges, so this one is smooth, but this one it stops at 2 clicks. And I guess that could work as a cavity for the Ray to ride into. Bat Ray. In the show, RayBot is a much bigger mech than the main 4. Yeah, maybe like this, if you imagine if this is the average car size. So those toys are going to look out of place. Unless there's a smaller version of them. Maybe non-transformable figurines. And here's RayBot in his Eagle mode. Still very awkward looking as ever as King Gaiz. Except I think King Gaiz looks much better in Eagle mode here because there's just a lot more paint on here. His back has dedicated ridges or extra red paint, which is this one is completely smooth and more red in the back. Only gold here. But at least that tail fin gold kind of blends in there. They both still have a very gappy neck. The eagle head looks pretty good though. You have a golden beak, more natural beak color, except this one is painted up all the way up here for King Gaiz and metallic red. On the underside, nothing for King Gaiz, but there's some gold here. And the wings, yeah, there's a lot of detail on the wings, like these extra accent colors and yellow here, but it's all plain purple. Made in China. Also, this looks like a solid plastic fin instead of King Gaiz's rubbery fin. That's really annoying since it gets distorted. Yeah, but the biggest advantage King Gaiz has is that he actually uses those tabs from the ditched bat mode for clipping in the shoulders. So that it actually locks onto something. RayBot does not have that because his shoulders do not have any holes. So he just has dangling legs, dangling missile legs for an eagle. At least those metallic red painted bits stick out and they actually kind of look neat. If you can actually get them together in a good pose, but yeah, that's biggest drawback. Also the tail. So King Gaiz for the win in this mode. Wolf mode. And compared to the King Gaiz's lion mode. Yeah, I guess it's kind of more evidence that this was not designed for a lion's head first and foremost. Again, it looks more like a liger. The narrow space looks much better for a wolf head since it doesn't need a mane. But it still has that big hollow gappage that already has a mouth that could have been used to make an actual mouth. A chunky wolf with a giant laser cannon on the back, speaking of which. Yeah, these are kind of just squarey, pentagonal, shaved off cannons, but these are 4 dedicated barrels. He does this a lot in the show, just jump over them and then blast them right in the face like a couple of times. Seeing how that looks, and yeah, the purple, plain purple is still kind of noticeable here. But there's been a bit of retooling in the legs. If you see, there are little nubs on his legs here, which does click into place. King Gaiz doesn't have that. And this leg locks in much better than King Gaiz here. It sort of locks in, but doesn't have a satisfying click. And the rear is, yeah, just a non-objective rear. And the robot toes are oh so different. These are on the octagonal back ridge stoppers, so just lock into place. And when it's not, it's just clicky and dangly a bit. But these are just straight up hinges. Yeah, I think that this is better for King Gaiz, since I think King Gaiz is better in that regard, since it's flexible and not just a click, 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 floppy, floppy, clicky. Yeah, so the Eagle mode wasn't that good compared to King Gaiz, but I think the Wolf mode is better, much better here than this Lion. Shark mode. I guess that titanium black body kinda naturally looks like shark colors with extra purple. A purple shark. And then here's the King Gaiz shark. Again, King Gaiz has a lot more painted details, like the red here and the two-tone gray and yellow on the red head. And the back of the fin reveals the painted stripes here that this thing doesn't have. And then aforementioned 3 stripes here on the neck part of the eagle. But RayBot's shark fins have more bolded details, like these 2 extra little finsies. And for some reason, this thing does not stay together as well as King Gaiz's armed fin tabs. Oh yeah, and to show more of those gills, they're smaller and painted, but these look unpainted and longer and much more thicker. So there's that subtle thing. As for the head itself, they both have toothy grins with very different toothy grins. Yeah, I mean, this is much more sharp, all angles and sharp, but this is kind of a, you know, multiple softer teeth, and pretty plain on the back. And much more angular looking plain metallic red eyes, while King Gaiz has those pupils. They both have nostrils, hard to see there, but they're there. Also, claws on fins. What are these claws? Also, they do not like angling downward that much. There's a little friction in there. So in that regard, I guess King Gaiz is better just because it locks together better than here, and also because there's much more detail here, including on the underside here. I didn't show the transformations because they're exactly the same as King Gaiz, which would be redundant, especially if they were consecutive videos. But now I'm going to show the transformation for RayBot's unique 5th mode. First step, the head, as usual. Fold down those arms. Come to the torso, split it apart. But first, before you do that, split apart the wings carefully. Just spread them out like that. Make sure the eagle head is flush right here. Make sure that eagle heads are turned this way and not locked in. Double click that tail fin and split that waist in 90. And then tab them onto here, the tabs on his legs onto the tabs on the eagle head. And pull out the cannons if you want. Bat mode. Yeah, I think this visage only works from the front because the rest of the robot bits are just furled up behind there. It doesn't look very aerodynamic. But against that unique robot chest design, kind of looks like a bat head now with these frilly sides, this metallic red now kind of looks like eyes, a little mouth, and these claws just dangling there, and these unique retooled bits, these little bat claws. But yeah, if you wrap it up like that, that looks much better from the front anyway. Still a whole lot of stuff on the back. And for the life of me, I could not find any footage from the show that shows his bat mode other than his holographic exposition. It's looking very Gigatronic, or RID Megatronic. Let's see if King Gaiz can pull off a similar mode. Unfortunately for him, it looks like that hinge there has been neutered. I mean, it looks like that it's a separate piece, but I guess it's glued in or fused in. Might be tempted to get in there and see if it can actually make this a hinge. So without that crucial piece, the best you can do is just, fold in the head and the cannons. And this is the ultimate proof that RayBot came first and not King Gaiz. These tabs. Yeah, so it looks like the tabs go here, but since without that hinge, you can't do it. No matter how hard you try, you can't really get in there, so that's it. This is the best you could do for a bat mode for King Gaiz. But with the very different chest, what does this look like? I don't know. It looks more like a animal satellite mode. Or a Gorgon eye thingy mode. Just, a giant robot eye, a laser beam of death, flying creature thing mode. I've always wondered why King Gaiz looked so stylistically out of place even for the more fictional Carbots. Many of the Carbot designs have all sorts of inner mechanical greebling, much like modern Transformers toys, but yeah, this King Gaiz is really smooth. Because like a mecha toy, like a typical mecha. And this is apparently why. King Gaiz was just a complete reshell from this design created first and foremost for Miniforce of all things. And after all these 5 to 6 years, the original concept toy has finally been realized in toy form, exclusively in China. Oi, Young Toys, why don't you make a brand new series about robo-trains and use an unfulfilled concept? You think licensing Zozo Zombies is gonna hold you over? So now there's two options for this mold. I guess it's your personal choice whether you like a regal gold and purple on titanium black, or bright yellow and red for the more kid appeal. As I said, I bought this off of Sirtoys, so you can check the links. But what if it's sold out already? Well, after doing a little searching, there's this site called Global JD. It looks like it has international shipping, and if you type in its original Chinese name, this listing might pop up, so if you want to get that without Sirtoys and also its original box, for you box collectors, that is more space inefficient, also check that direct link. So thanks for watching, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and here's why I watched Miniforce in Korean and not English.
It is the most advanced force bot.
So, in a nutshell, he's extremely strong.
Because of a misunderstanding, Ray has deserted the Miniforce. Moreover, he has gone over to Pascal's side.
He went to Pascal's side, traitor!